Hi and welcome to the Indulge podcast with me, Ramola. And like every week, I'm in conversation with someone super interesting. This week, I'm in conversation with one of my favorite singers of all time, Sikkil Gurucharan. Let me not waste any more time and get into the conversation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Roma.
Such a pleasure finally meeting you in person. I have only been a Rasika all these years, sitting in the audience and watching you perform and just being absolutely mesmerized by your voice. But let's get to know the story behind the singer that all of us love so much.
Sure.
So, the first thing that comes up on Google when I type Sikkil Gurucharan is, what does your name mean? So, we'll start with that.
Okay, I can give a simple answer. My name is a combination of the hometown that my grandmothers belonged to, Sikkil, which is near Kumbakonam.
Okay.
Technically, it's Sikkal. In Tamil, we write it as Sikkal, but somehow I think in English it got changed to Sikkil, and I'm happy to have that. So that's the first part of my name. Gurucharan is, of course, some people may say it's sounding rather North Indian kind of, because the names that I have heard are Gurucharan Singh or Gurucharan Das.
True.
But yeah, there is this a strange practice in my father's side of the family that we have several boys' names starting with Guru.
Nice.
So there is a Guru Prasad, there's Guru Prakash, Guru Kiran. And
I think it was a very common thing once upon a time.
Yeah, so I was christened Guru Charan.
Very nice.
And then I was known as Guru or Charan for a long time. And then when my grandmothers felt that I will be able to keep up the legacy of their music, they said, okay, from now you can use our hometown's name.
Oh, lovely.
Because my aunt is Sikkil Mala Chandrasekhar.
Okay.
And so they said, now you can add.
You deserve it now. How nice. Okay, super. Everyone would want to know, of course, where did the journey in music start? How young were you when you first realized that you might be inclined towards music? Or were you pushed into it like a lot of other kids in South India? How did this journey begin?
Journey began sometime, I think, when I was 8 or 9, when I started informally learning from my mother, because there was music all around. My mother used to teach children who came to our house to learn. And my mother used to teach flute to my sister, and I was just a happy fly on the wall. I was learning everything involuntarily. And my grandmothers, I used to go with them to the concerts. But they realized that this boy had the potential to sing, and they probably didn't want me to go their way. Everybody in my family sings, but they are eventually put in the family instrument of flute. True. So my grandmothers realized that pretty early, and they said, this boy has to sing and only sing.
Lovely.
And they put me under a vocal guru outside the family, Mr. Sri Vaigal Yanaskandan. And he continued to be my guru. And I don't think I realized that I was cut out for this until I probably went for my graduation in Vivekananda College. So at that time, I think it was a combination of many factors: my learning, my upbringing in the family, my constant outings with my grandmothers in their concerts, looking them behave as musicians with their fans and with their team of artists. And then finally, my own set of friends who were also musicians at the time at Vivekananda College, the way we got together with music and went hopping from Sabha to Sabha to listen to concerts, and the way we exchanged many cassettes of yesteryear stalwarts and listened to that, analyzed their music.
How interesting.
And everything kind of went into my subconscious mind, and when I started singing, it showed itself in different forms or shades. And when that was received by the audience and I got a positive feedback, and slowly I saw people coming to my concert expecting something interesting, expecting something new, was when I realized that maybe I am in this for the long run, for the long haul. And that was the moment I kind of realized that I should take this more seriously. I should not kind of two-time this with any day job. Although that was what I had to do, because most of my friends after college, they went to post-graduation, and then they went to work in some BPO, which was the thing then. So I wanted to follow suit. I even went to a couple of interviews, but everything, the moment they said that it was a night job, I had to sleep the whole day, and then I have to go work in the night.
Doesn't work for a lot of people.
And I said that wouldn't work for me. And that was about the moment when concerts started picking up.
Nice.
Word of mouth started spreading, and people started calling me and small venues and temples and marriage functions, and
Lovely.
every single chance was a learning experience for me about how good or how bad or how better I need to get. So I think that was when I decided that I'm in this for the long haul.
Nice. I think you're one of the few Carnatic musicians today who is really well known with both age groups. You're very well known with the senior groups who listen to Carnatic all their life, and you're also popular with the whole young bunch who are discovering Carnatic for the first time. How do you manage to straddle these two things? How do you be relevant to young people but also be appreciated by the older generation?
I think Carnatic music is
Okay.
that art form which speaks to both audiences. It can be traditional and contemporary at the same time. So if you look at the attire I'm wearing, this is not what I would wear in a traditional concert. But I've worked with so many artists who have taken Carnatic music outside the usual sabha sabha setting, the auditorium setting. So over there, we do play with designers, we do work with a way of presenting Carnatic music to a more contemporary audience.
Yes, yes.
So that has shaped my understanding of Carnatic music even more, and that has, I wouldn't say forcibly, but in a very subtle way, it has made me stay relevant in every age and time. So I'm enjoying the process of being a musician now. I'm enjoying the process of being as traditional as possible, but also taking up the opportunity to present Carnatic music in a very new form to a new audience while staying core. While staying true to my core.
Nice. Now, a lot of people don't get to know the inner workings of Carnatic music. You know, like there's this huge myth and misconception that Hindustani as an art form gives so much more scope to a singer to play around with a rag and do whatever they want with it. But Carnatic is a little bit more limiting. At least that's the idea portrayed. But I think you're someone who's played around with whatever you wanted to do on, during your performances. So is that true that Carnatic is limiting, or does it also offer you a scope to show your talents as a vocalist?
I think, Romal, the myth I would probably say is that Carnatic music is more composition based than raga based.
Okay.
So in a typical Hindustani music concert, you wouldn't get to hear that many compositions that we present at Carnatic music concerts. So if it's a 2-hour concert, we will sing close to probably 6 or 7 songs of various forms. And but that said, I would also say that Carnatic music is reinventing itself every decade. And with the advent of social media and with the advent of new age rasikas who want to listen to music in a slightly different setting, there is the possibility of presenting only ragas in a concert, because I strongly feel that Carnatic music, the bedrock of this art form is raga and tala. So with the raga and tala system that has been given to us by the Carnatic legends and thinkers over the decades, over the centuries, we are now at freedom to create whichever concert repertoire that we want to present. So, and I'm reminded of the great Veena virtuoso S. Balachandra sir, who used to present concerts with just raga alapanas for 1.5 hours. He used to give pamphlets to the audience saying that in this next 90 minutes, you'll be listening to these raga alapanas.
That's it.
And all those who wanted to listen to songs, they were like surprised, but in a good way.
Nice.
They were happy to listen to just the ragas being played as alapana and tanam.
Lovely.
And he wouldn't go into compositions because he said that compositions, probably he believed that compositions are well brought out by vocalists.
True.
And we are here to project the raga. And I would like to say that we can also project the raga, and we have the luxury of providing the lyrics while singing. So it is up to each artist and as an individual to present Carnatic music in whatever way they feel, which is relevant to that particular audience.
Now, at what age did you start singing? And over the years, what do you think has changed for you as a Carnatic singer? Like, what are those parts about Carnatic music that has constantly wowed you, that has constantly made you go back and say, I didn't realize this yesterday, So what keeps you attracted to this form?
See, it's, I started my concert career when I was 12. That was when I had my Arangetram, but I didn't sing after that for maybe, I think, 8 years. And I was more into studies. And then, as I said, once I finished my graduation, I started venturing out to do all these Margadi concerts, little concerts here and there. Right from the day I started giving these December season concerts where you have back-to-back events. I used to sing maybe 3 or 4 concerts
Okay.
at that time, but those 4 concerts would be spaced within 3 days. So that was my first, exposure to singing concerts under pressure.
Got it.
Your voice may or may not function the way you want
true.
all those 4 days. And I think that is one fascinating feature of Carnatic music that has kept me going. And I'm sure it's true with the other artists also. Is the factor of suspense, the X factor. You never know how your training is going to manifest itself in that particular concert. It can be a day concert, it can be a morning concert, it can be a noon concert, it can be a recording, it can be an evening prime concert, or just a half an hour digital concert that we have today. So you just have to channelize all your training and the experience of singing in front of an audience, and just let the music take over.
Nice.
And that has worked for me in my traditional concerts for 3 hours, in my collaborative ventures with maybe Anil Srinivasan on the piano, with working with other world-class musicians. So everyone, I think they have contributed to where I'm sitting today as a Carnatic musician. And this quest for, expecting the unknown to happen in a live concert, that's why I'm a huge sucker for live concerts. And not to say that recordings are not my forte, but I love that suspense and the energy that a live concert brings, where we kind of stumble and again rediscover the strengths that we have.
How lovely.
And there's this Dar ke aage jeet hai, for I think for a famous soda.
Some campaign,
So I love that Dar ke aage jeet which comes in a Carnatic music live concert.
How nice.
You have that inhibition of trying a new phrase, and then you probably will stumble. Not many people will know, but and your team of artists have found out, and they kind of lift you up. They say that, hey dude, this is what you're trying to do. Many moments I've had the violinist or the mridangam artist, they have tried to show me that this is what probably will help you better. And this whole communication between the artists on stage in a live concert, without having the necessity of your usual languages, Tamil, English, nothing. Music is the only language that keeps us going. So that is what I look forward to, and that has been my constant learning.
Lovely. Now, there are few people, especially in Chennai, from the Carnatic music circle, who manage to balance film careers, singing for films, and also, doing your kacheris and, performing at sabhas and keeping it what purists would consider the way it should be. You've also managed to do that. So what is the secret between both of that? How do you ensure that people do not feel like you're diluting the art and things like that? And also keep it relevant to both audiences, because you're equally popular in both spaces. So how do you manage to do that?
I see everything as an extension of my art form. So I am not one to consider Carnatic music, which has to be present within a boxed category.
Isolated. It's not.
It is not isolated. It exists with every. It exists in everything that I dabble in daily life. Nice. So it can be even a ringtone can inspire me to compose something in my next concert. And,
True.
And whatever I hear as a comedy track in a Tamil film, or I'm a huge fan of Kamal Hassan, Ilayaraja, and Kaundamai Senthilan. So whenever I watch their movies, somehow I kind of reflect on my own career and say, okay, this story will probably, this is what I learned in a kriti of Papanasam Sivan. So this is what occurs as a dialogue. So everything connects in a very Carnatic way, in a very classical way to me right now. And I think that's what I look forward to while I work with Rajiv Menon in films, and I don't see that as, oh my God, now I have to put on my I have to shut down being a Carnatic musician. Now I have to do what the director says.
True.
So although I've acted in just a couple of movies, but both the movies came to me because I was a Carnatic musician. So it was an extension of my art form.
Very nice.
And I think that helped.
Nice. A lot of young people who are not part of the Carnatics, haven't grown up listening to Carnatic music. Their entry often is film music that has Carnatic bases, and there's so much. Be it Rahman or Ilayaraja or any of the greats, they're all basing it on rags, and a lot of Carnatic rags. If someone is interested to go beyond that and try and look at Carnatic music for what it is, where do you think is a great entry point? What is it that you think they should listen to first? something that they can understand and then develop the Rasika within themselves?
If they want to keep away from the film music,
Yeah, a little bit, but go beyond it.
go beyond it. So yeah, as you said, that's a great starting point for Carnatic music. No, strictly speaking, even for me, my foray into Carnatic music and the very fact that my grandmothers thought I could sing was because I was humming of cinema tune.
True.
At that age, I was not humming anything Carnatic.
True.
So that was my initiation into Carnatic music as well. But just like we do as music students, if the Rasikas probably went a step ahead and tried to learn the basic forms of swaras that we have.
Okay.
And the world of thalas. So you don't have to jump into the center every time. So you just have to start with the basics and find out what is the system of 72 ragas and what is the difference between scale and how scale becomes a raga. And now you have information everywhere in your phone. So you just have to search, type in the right keywords, and AI will give you the answer. But as we always say, you can't rely on Google search for everything. You have to go that extra step and check for the authenticity. So that is what you need to do. Just spend about half an hour every day. Try to pick a raga, and once you've heard the raga in films, maybe it is a Sindhu Bhairavi.
True.
And then you go a little beyond that, shut down films for one day and find out what is Sindhu Bhairavi in Carnatic music and how it is similar or different in Hindustani music. And then you listen to a song and find that the song is based in Adi Talam and find out what Adi Talam is all about and how you maintain the beat. And I think that is enough. For 1 month, if you do it regularly, it will get you hooked to a live concert experience.
Lovely. For a non-Sava, someone who is absolutely new to Carnatic, looking at your personal journey, of course, how long did it take for you to be able to hear a random ditty and say it's based on this rag? Like in a real life situation, how long did it take for you to be able to figure that out?
Honestly speaking, even today I cannot listen to a random tune and not catch the tune first before finding out what the raga is. I know people who, the music which is going on here, I love that melody, the melody behind it, and I would like to sing the melody first. And then I would realize, oh, maybe this is Sarasangi.
Yeah.
But there are people who would say that
the exact opposite.
Exact opposite. They say, oh, I can hear Sarasangi somewhere, and then they sing. So I belong.
It's so reassuring to know that even you can't.
Absolutely, because many people, the YouTube series that I do called Janaloram, where I kind of analyze or share my joy of listening to Ilayaraja sir's melodies. They write to me saying that, can you tell me what raga this is and what raga this song is based out. So I replied to them saying that, I cannot listen to songs through a raga framework in the beginning.
Lovely.
I love the melody of the song, and I allow the melody to, get into my system first. And then it hits me that, oh, here he has changed from Sudhadanyasi to a different raga. Here he has gone from Mohanam to Vasanti. And all these things come later to me. So I belong to that.
And that's fine, I think. I think that's what we're trying to tell our audience.
Exactly. It's how you enjoy music.
I think because the problem I see with a lot of people when they're talking about Carnatic is the intimidation about the form, right? And I think the more simpler you make it to them, the more you focus on the enjoyment. The more
the experience is
is what is important. Now we have to talk about the most important thing, which is your show in Bangalore. Please tell us all about it. I'm so excited. English, but Carnatic based. Please tell me everything about it.
So it's quite funny because I think most people who want to get into films, they start with doing theatre and then they do short films and then they go to the full-length feature film. So for me, it was first Rajiv Menon sir calling me for Sarvam Talamayam, a short role in that.
And which we all remember, by the way.
Thank you. And then he called me for a short film, which he did during the COVID times. And then now, thanks to Madras Players, the oldest theatre company, English theatre company in Chennai, they have come up with this wonderful play called Kamalakshi, directed by the veteran P.C. Ramakrishna sir. So it was during, I think, 2022 December season. He usually comes to the concert that I do in Narada Ganasabha. And after the concert, he comes and wishes me well and says that this is what I loved and this is where you could have improved. And we have a nice conversation because he also plays the mridangam. He's from a musical family.
Nice.
And he just came that that evening after the concert and said, Sharan, I have a request for you, and I want you to act in my next play.
Oh, lovely.
And I was like, okay, acting was something that I enjoyed doing, thanks to the two experiences I had with Rajiv Menon sir before. And he said that I have a role tailor-made for you because this is a story of the 18th century Thiruvarur music setting in Thiruvarur. And it is a story of a Devadasi who is a dancer, as well as a young musician who sings Dikshita's Kritis in the Thiruvarur temple. So this is a story about the two of them, and with a lot of the social setting which was prevalent in those times. And this play is written by Sujata Vijayaraghavan, and we premiered it in 2023 October. And it has been doing well. We have had many shows in Chennai, and that is the show we are bringing to Bangalore for the very first time at Chaudaya Hall on February 28th.
Super.
At I think 6:30 p.m.
Nice.
The tickets are available on Book My Show, and I've been reaching out to my friends to watch this very unique amalgam of live Carnatic music, live Bharatanatyam, as well as English theatre.
How interesting.
And Chaudaya Hall is very close to my heart because I think the hall has seen me doing several things with music.
Okay.
So I have done my traditional Carnatic concert. I've performed with Anil Srinivasan on the piano.
Okay.
I think our first Bangalore venture with Western classical piano was at Chaudaya Hall.
Nice.
And I also had this opportunity to sing with fantastic musicians from the Namdari community at Chaudaya Hall.
Okay.
And now this English musical play. I had a wonderful opportunity of working with Ramesh Vinayakam on a fusion music show celebrating MS Subbulakshmi's melodies, the Carnatic melodies that she has done, but with a modern sound. We did that. So Chaudaya Hall has been such a eclectic place for me to try out different sounds, and this is really exciting that I'm trying acting in front of a Bangalore audience.
We would have it no other way, honestly, because Chaudaya is so close to all of us in Bangalore. And we're so happy that you're bringing the play finally.
Thank you so much.
The moment I heard about it, I was just like, this is so wild and this is so exciting. We're coming to the end of our podcast because I don't want to keep it too long and bore our listeners. But this has been a great conversation. But I have to ask you one thing, which is, and I ask this to all musicians, irrespective of the kind of background they come from. What is the one raga that you have a special soft corner for? Why? And if you could perform for our audience a small piece in that raga?
Okay, I always say this in interviews when I'm asked this question, that as a musician, I don't have the luxury of having a soft corner for any raga. And,
all of you all play this so diplomatically.
I'm not diplomatic, I'm being as honest
There's
as
always
possible.
a favorite one.
Actually, there isn't, because
wow.
I work with one raga that sticks to me as a earworm.
Okay.
So right now it's this pipe music that's going on, and I think the raga has changed. As I told you, I'm having trouble finding out the raga, but the earlier music that was playing was Sarasangi, and even before the interview started, that kept playing in my head, and I think it's my favorite right now. It'll be there till the time I reach home.
Lovely.
At that time, I'll probably listen to another song. So I wait for.
Please, could you perform a bit of that raga
Sure.
for us?
Tadari na 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 Nizari gari zanida pama gamada mada nida niri niriga niriga magari ni nizari ganida pada nizari gamma pada nizari gamma pada nizari re gamma ba gamma pada ma pada nizari gamma ganida da gari sani
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramola.
Absolutely beautiful. Before we go though, let's remind our audiences when the show is happening, how they can pick up tickets. This is a great way for you to sell tickets. So
thank you. Thanks for the peg. Yes, Kamalakshi, the English play with live Carnatic music dance is going to happen at Chaudaya Hall on February 28th at 6 p.m. So Madras players, They are bringing their latest production called Kamalakshi to you in Bangalore. So please do check out, book my show for the tickets, and probably we can give the
Superb.
link sometime.
Yes, we should put it below so that people
Thank you
can.
so much. Thank you so much.
Before you go though, my last question, what is 2025 looking like for you?
It's looking great.
Okay.
And it is looking really great with some interesting projects lined up. I don't plan my projects every January. It's not like that. It's just the schedule that I have for the next 2 months that decides my practice, my repertoire building, and everything. So right now, I'm looking forward to working with on this English play, and I do have a very interesting US and Europe tour coming up.
Lovely.
Where I get to do my traditional concerts as well as a spin-off of my YouTube series called Janaloram in different centers. So that has been a great way for me to meet new Rasikas and the seasoned Rasikas, and trying to bridge the gap between them, as you told, making Carnatic music as relevant as possible within the traditional framework that it has. It has been one of my biggest objectives and my most favorite goals. So everything that pushes me towards that is a great thing.
Thank you for doing that. And on that note, we end this podcast with none other than Sikkil Gurucharan. Thank you so much for your time. Been such a pleasure on the show.
Always.
Thank you.